My girls hit me with the "you're not our real dad" line, and I just stopped trying. They didn't see what was coming, though. For almost 3 decades, I was a number cruncher and accountant at a tiny little place. While they were growing up, when Rachel and Jessica were teenagers, I was always hustling. Evening gigs to balance the books, weekend tax stuff, any overtime I could get. Not exactly a dream life, but it was what paid for Rachel, who's 27 now, and Jessica, who's 24, to have everything. Looking back, I might have gone a bit overboard. Private lessons, brand new cars when they turned 16, trips overseas, full college rides at fancy schools. I remember living off ramen for months just so Rachel could do that semester in Florence she was dying for, to study art history. Their mom, Deborah, bounced when Jessica was only 3, said she felt stifled, needed to find herself. Found herself real fast, I guess, with her tennis coach. Whatever, though, the divorce gave me primary custody with the usual visitation stuff. Honestly, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Then last March, Deborah announced she was getting hitched to Bradley Harrison. He was some big-shot investment banker. The girls were over the moon. Suddenly, weekends were spent at his huge house, and they came back with designer stuff, chattering about his yacht and all his vacation spots. Whatever, if it made them happy. Then came October. I spent 2 whole days making Sunday dinner, the dishes they always loved, from scratch. The turkey was cooking, the table was set with the good china I got from my mom when they finally showed up. Late, of course, in Bradley's Mercedes, both of them sporting matching Cartier bracelets. "Dad, we gotta chat before dinner," Rachel announced, still bundled up in her coat. "What's going on?" Jessica took a big breath. "We're doing Christmas with Mom and Bradley in Vail. He's renting a place." That was okay, I thought, even though it stung a little. "We can do our Christmas early whenever works for you." They looked at each other. Rachel jumped in. "Actually, we need to talk about some things." "Things?" Bradley chimed in. "And we're both on board that it's time to rethink how our family works," Jessica explained. "He wants to adopt us as adults." I almost burst out laughing. "Adult adoption, that's pretty weird." "It's more common than you'd think," Rachel said with a real coldness. "It makes things easier for his will." "His will? What are you talking about?" Jessica pulled out her phone. "Dad, Mom finally spilled the beans. You're not our real dad." The room started spinning. "What?" "She had an affair before the divorce with her tennis coach, Marco. He's our actual dad. She never told you because she knew you'd fight for custody. That's crazy." "We did DNA tests during the custody thing." Rachel just shrugged. "Mom says you faked them." "It doesn't matter anymore. Bradley wants to officially make us family, and we think it's best if we start moving on from this." She waved her hand around my small house. They left without eating, without a hug, without even saying goodbye after I made dinner. I stood there, totally shocked, surrounded by all their favorite foods now getting cold. Update 1. 3 days later, oh my God, this went viral. First, let me just clear a few things up. I'm their real dad. The DNA tests from the divorce are locked away in my safety deposit box. I double-checked them this morning. Both girls, 99.9% match. But get this. I called my lawyer friend, Sarah Chen. She's a whiz with family law stuff, and she said we should send a letter, officially asking them to stop lying about who their dad is, since they got no proof. Their lawyer, Bradley's lawyer, wrote back. Basically, they're sticking to their story and want me to just hand over my parental rights. Then Jessica posts this Instagram thing, all about growing and leaving toxic situations behind, even if it's family. New beginnings. Picture of her and Bradley at some fancy charity thing. The comments? Half the people are cheering her on, the other half are calling her a spoiled brat. Then Bradley texts me. "Just sign the papers," he says. "Make this easy." He's all, "You had your time, I can give them more opportunities." I shot back one text, "DNA evidence or leave me alone." His reply, "Don't make a fool of yourself, real men know when to walk away." But here's the crazy part. Deborah called me yesterday. "Why are you making this so hard?" she asked. "Making what hard?" I said. "Lying about the girl's dad," she snapped. "Bradley's got connections, the girls could have amazing careers. Can't you just let it go?" "Because they're my daughters," I told her. "Oh, you're so stubborn," she sighed. "Fine, Bradley knows people, don't force us to go to court." Something felt wrong after that call. I started looking into things. Something just didn't sit right. Okay, so a week after digging around, I hit the jackpot. Turns out Bradley Harrison, my so-called financial guru and oh yeah, my accountant, is a total fraud. My network of contacts really came through. He's being investigated by the SEC for shady dealings. That fancy mansion, leased. The boat he brags about, borrowed from some client who's now taking him to court. And get this, the reason he wanted to adopt my daughters is purely for show. He's been playing the family man card to lure in investors, the conservative type. Apparently, having two successful grown daughters, Jessica in marketing and Rachel in art curation, makes him look like Mr. Reliable. So the adoption wasn't about inheritance or anything like that. It was all about creating a fake image. Now, here's what I did. I didn't yell or scream. Instead, I quietly canceled their phone plans, which were still under my name. I took them off my credit cards, and yeah, I even changed the Netflix password. Pretty petty, I guess. But then I sent them each a detailed bill for their cars, also in my name, and all their college expenses. You know, since they claimed I wasn't their dad, they could pay their own way. The total, $372,000. Let me tell you, they blew up. Rachel stormed into my office, making a huge scene. "How dare you cut off my phone during work?" she yelled. I just looked at her and said, "I'm sorry, do I know you?" She lost it. "Dad, this isn't funny." And I replied, "Well, according to you, I'm not your dad." Jessica tried a different approach. She showed up at my house that night, tears and all. "Daddy, please," she begged. "We didn't mean it. We were just exploring options." "Options that involve pretending I'm not your father?" I asked. "Bradley said it would be better for our taxes," she explained. I just looked at her. "Jessica, you took accounting classes. You know that's a load of crap." I just fell apart. He said straight out that we had to keep our distance because of his investor meetings. Said having a regular middle-class dad would ruin his image. Finally, the truth came out. 2 weeks later, everything came crashing down. Way faster than I thought it would. Bradley's SEC problems blew up in the news. It wasn't just an investigation. They were building a case, a full-blown Ponzi scheme. His investment firm was paying off old investors with money from new ones, and he was running out of new suckers. Deborah, well, the whole engagement went south when she found out the fancy house was rented and his family fortune was fake. She tried to come crawling back to me, but that train left the station years ago. But my daughters, they went all in against me. They plastered all over social media how I was financially abusing them by asking for the money back I'd spent on their education. Even Rachel's best friend, who I also put through college, called me sobbing, saying Rachel was painting me as some kind of monster. My own sister joined the circus. They made a huge mistake. Family forgives, they say. Easy to say when you're not the one being cut off because your kid's a con man. I handled everything through lawyers. Sarah sent formal demands for the car payments and a schedule for transferring the titles. It was simple, either they acknowledge I'm their dad or they pay up. That's when Bradley decided to make his move. His lawyer sent a nasty letter threatening me with extortion and emotional blackmail. He claimed I was messing with his business by talking about his financial mess. Sarah just laughed, let him try. It was crazy, the whole thing. Social media exploded. It was like Team Dad versus Team Daughters, a total war. My daughter's friends were all over me, but my friends had my back. It got really nasty. I just kept my mouth shut and watched the whole mess unfold. A month later, boom, Bradley got arrested. Then a week after that, the feds raided his office and that huge rental house he had. They even caught Deborah trying to skip town with bags full of cash. Turns out, she was way more involved in the whole scam than anyone imagined. My girls finally saw what a mess they'd gotten themselves into. They showed up at my house completely wrecked. Gone were the fancy outfits, jeans and sweatshirts were the new uniform. "Dad," Rachel started, her voice shaking, we messed up, big time." I said, "Yeah, you messed up, several times actually. Bradley's gone and Mom's probably going to prison." Jessica choked out, "We need help." "What kind of help?" I asked. "The FBI froze our accounts," Rachel explained. "They think we might be involved because we went to those investor meetings with Bradley." I asked, "Were you involved?" They looked at each other, eyes wide with panic. Rachel mumbled, we might have helped move some money around. Bradley said it was for taxes." I just sighed. "Get a lawyer," I told them, "and get a good one." "We can't afford one," Jessica said. "Our credit cards are maxed out and our accounts are frozen." "Sounds like a personal problem then," I said, feeling completely drained. They left, both crying. Honestly, I just felt bone tired. 3 months later, everything's finally calmed down. Bradley got 12 years in federal prison. Deborah got 3 years for being part of the conspiracy. She ratted him out right away, spilled the beans on everything. My daughters weren't charged with anything. The prosecutor decided they were just clueless, not actually criminals. Their reputations, completely shot. Rachel lost her job at the museum and Jessica got canned from her fancy law firm. The whole mess was just too much. Now they're crammed into a tiny apartment, slinging clothes at some retail place to pay the bills. They've chipped away at that $15,000 they owe me for the cars, but I'm not counting on seeing the rest anytime soon. Last week, this letter shows up from Rachel. It said, "Dad, I don't expect you to forgive us. We chose money over you, lies over family. Every single thing you did for us, every hour you worked your butt off, every time you put us first, we tossed it all aside for fancy handbags and parties. I see it all now, Dad. And I'm so sorry, your daughter, if you'll still have me. I haven't answered it and I'm not sure I will. Jessica's note was way shorter. Just, I'm sorry for everything. You deserved better. My sister still thinks I should let them off the hook. They're your daughters, she says. Are they, though? They sure seem to think so when Bradley's money was rolling in me. I'm doing okay. Actually, I just took my first vacation in ages. I'm even dating again Sarah's sister, believe it or not. She's great. A librarian, no drama, just a really nice person. And work's going awesome, got promoted to senior accountant. Go figure, when you're not constantly freaking out about your kids, you actually do a better job. Do I miss them? Every single day. But it's the people I thought they were that I miss, not these. These people they turned into. Will I forgive them eventually? Maybe, but trust. That's something you earn, not just get handed, and they've got a mountain to climb to earn back my trust. It's been the toughest lesson of my life. Love shouldn't be conditional, that's for sure, but respect absolutely is. I appreciate everyone listening to my story. Honestly, it felt good to get it all out there. Anyway, I gotta get on with things. A few things people keep asking. First off, yeah, those DNA test results. Real, from way back when. Second, no, I'm not paying for any of their lawyer stuff. Third, yep, both of them are trying to get back on their feet with their jobs. Fourth, nah, no regrets about walking away. Fifth, you bet I kept all the receipts, every single one. Just remember, if someone acts a certain way, trust it.